It's time to take a stand, bringing the truth to a fucked up land. We've had enough of the lies and deceit. We're done for good with the toxicity. Oh, hell, thanks. We are the Rabyd Nation. Oh, hell, thanks. We are the Rabyd Nation. Oh, hell, thanks. We are the Rabyd Nation. We are the Rabyd Nation.
All right, and welcome to the Rabyd Nation. Welcome to the channel of the Rabyd Atheist. I'm your host, Ed Rabyd, a former pastor turned atheist, now a compassionate anti-theist. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to the stream. Usually on Saturdays, I spend some time looking at sermons by preachers, and we're in the Halloween festive season, so witches, demons, anything is on the docket for this month along those lines. And tonight I have a preacher who is long departed, but still has a tremendous influence on the thinking about demons to this day, by the name of Derek Prince. So we're gonna dive into some of the stuff he says about how demons cause people to have bad attitudes and things like that. So there you have it. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight. It's an edited video by the people that wanted to get to the heart and meat of the sermon, because I'm sure he says a bunch of other stuff. And so I want to make that well known that this isn't the full sermon. But if I try to do full sermons, it's going to take two parts, because a lot of people just like to talk when they're preachers. Preachers have a problem shutting up. So there's that. So we're going to get into that. Also, to make note, there is a goal in chat. If we reach that goal, I will wear whatever hat the poll has chosen for the rest of the stream. It's my low-key way of asking for money for support during the stream. So it's kind of a little bit of fun and all that. So make sure you do that as well. So let's see, is there anything else? I think we haven't posted it yet, but I am going to be doing a special stream on Halloween night. So with the lovely I Killed Earl, and I think she wanted to talk about her time in Witchy Woo, and I want to talk about how that directly relates to Pentecostalism. So we're gonna yeah, I'm not doing two parts tonight. I'm going to nail this one. This guy's only got like 15 minutes worth of stuff, and I think we can hit it all tonight. But let's get a roll call. Fred was here, of course, early. The senator. Ray Way is here. Phantom is here. Dragon Rider is also here. Evan is here. Decibel is here. Michael is here. Let's see, who else do I got? And Azo is here as well. Don't worry, Azo, no hellhounds were injured in the creation of this video. So there you go. And Katie's here. Saw Katie over on Captive Desk. Saturday Night at the Atheist. Wolf is here. So there you go. So yes, we have our fellow buns now. We're all known as buns, I guess. I think I'm going to take a look at when we're going to do that. We might do it a little later. Depends. I'm off that week. I'm on my vacation week where I'm doing a staycation and just hanging out at home, reading books and doing stuff on my computer, and hopefully doing some writing and get some things set up that week. But I want to celebrate my favorite holiday by taking a week off. So there we go. That we're going to do. Yes, I love staycations. So there we go. But yes. All right. But I think that's it for the announcements. So let's bring up Mr. Prince. I'm going to pause him right now. A little information about our speaker. Derek Prince was born in 1915 and he died in 2003. He's an English citizen who was born in India. And then he ended up dying in Jerusalem. So there's that. He's educated at Eton College, King College, Cambridge, and the Hebrew University at Jerusalem. According to the summary I could find, he was originally an Anglican. He became an atheist during university when he was at Eton King's College in Cambridge. I guess he became an atheist. And during World War II, while serving in the British Army, he converted back to Christianity. But I couldn't find really a denomination. He is very much a Pentecostal, charismatic type preacher, though he has that. He's not as animated as some of the other Pentecostal preachers I have done on the channel. Like everything is, but his style, I think, appealed back then to a lot of people who preferred like teaching Pentecostals, things like that. So he's very, very much like he likes to be pragmatic. This is a kind of guy that I would have probably liked when I was a Pentecostal, looking at the way he's doing things. He's not as emotionally based, but he's still engaged in a lot of woo, and which is a very interesting combination. So he married a Danish missionary in and adopted all 8 of her daughters, and they had one more daughter together. And then he married another woman, and she had 3 adopted children too. He's been around the world, 50 different countries. And still to this day, people put his stuff as a required reading, things like that. If you're a Pentecostal or you're that kind of person, this is where you're at. So Rabyd says arrive when they choose. Yes, this is true. All right, let's go. All right, but here we go. That's some of the background on this guy. So here we go. Let's see what he has to say about demons and how they affect all of that. So let's see what happens.
My description of demons is persons without bodies. It's very important to realize you're dealing with a person. In the early years of my ministry, I suffered from intense depression that would come over me and rest upon me like a dark cloud and shut me in, keep me from communicating. And I struggled with it. I did everything. I prayed, I fasted, I reckoned myself dead, I knew the scriptures. And the more I prayed and fasted, the worse it got.
Okay. So ghosts are demons. Yes. The thing about demons, okay, and Pentecostal theology is there's a lot of confusion about them, because it's interesting that he starts with something that I would consider to be very basic in our understanding of demons. When I was a Pentecostal, like you're dealing with, the belief system at the time is you're dealing with something that is, they have a will, they have this, they have that, they're behave like C.S. Lewis's Screw Tape Letters was like required reading for demonology when I was, and they're diabolical and all that stuff. I mean, he's going to get into all that in the rest of the video. I have watched the video once, and I think some of you are going to be interested in how you're influenced by demons to this day. I'm fairly certain that some of you are going to get triggered if you're a former Pentecostal, because some of this stuff the reason I'm doing him is he is like a foundational influencer back in the day about demonology and theology. So he's like, especially in the Pentecostal church. So yes, this is where he's starting to say what you're really dealing with. You're not really dealing with, some malevolent force. You're dealing with a person. You're dealing with somebody that is trying to influence your life in a negative way. So there's that. No, there is no human psychology in his viewpoint. In fact, you're going to see, Fred, where he is going to conflate the two. Like somehow the real problems that we have, like depression and fear and all that stuff, are actually caused by demons. He's going to make a big case for that. So that's kind of where he's at. Yeah, yeah. He's the thing about it. He when he died, after he died, it's like funny because it was very easy to find Decibel a lot of his sermons that were videotaped, like this one. Like there's a whole bunch of different channels that are Pentecostal in nature, and they have like lots of videos of this guy being the true teacher about demons. Okay, so and the reason this got inspired is last week, if you remember, our guy that I reacted to, he talked about how demons need to be more in the forefront of people's mind. And then you had Apologia did a similar thing where he's like, the guy he was talking to was talking about demons as well. So it's kind of their thing. Okay, so it's not a demon, it's indigestion. But yeah, there you go. Hey, Native. Good to see you. But yeah, so his whole point so far. Now, as a pastor, I got a point on his delivery. That's kind of why I do this. Is I also want to show you that he has an audience in front of him that already believes this stuff, so he doesn't have to do a lot of, work of proving that demons exist. He doesn't have to prove the devil exists. He doesn't have to prove God or the Holy Spirit exists. He's already got that part. Okay. His thing is he's trying to get people to be more practical about dealing with their demons. So he heads in the direction of, you got to understand that demons are persons. Okay. Like they're not just forces that you can just wave away or whatever. So that's kind of where he's going. So, but yeah, he's already made that point. So where's he going to go with it?
And I had no remedy. And one day I was reading Isaiah chapter 61. And it said, in place of the spirit of heaviness, the garment of praise. And the Holy Spirit spoke to me and said, that's your problem. A spirit of heaviness, of depression. And when I knew that I was dealing with a person and not myself, you see, I've been blaming myself for all of this. When I discovered it was another person, I was 80% of the way to victory. And actually, I understood by revelation that it was a familiar spirit.
Okay, so he's introduced a whole shit ton of concepts here, okay? But he's like, he has this problem where he has this heaviness or depression, okay? So now we're going to blame a demon for it. This is incredibly common still to this day in Pentecostal charismatic circles. Like if you have a psychological issue, they blame it on a demon. Like it's not you that's the problem. It's the demon that's doing whatever to you. And so they didn't do that. Yeah, the bib. I don't know, Katie. This is back. It's his 80th birthday, so I'd have to. Okay, so he's born in 1915. So this is 1995, I would say, that he's doing this sermon. So I'm trying to remember in Pentecostal service, that may have been fashionable back then, Katie. Like it was the thing. I mean, look at the guys on the screen right now. Like, I don't know where he is. He's in England. So these are all English folks that are listening to him. And yeah, the fashion is very interesting. Yeah. And I wanted to talk about that too, Michael, because he talks about, I received by revelation this understanding of demons. So apparently the Bible wasn't enough. Okay. So you have this aspect of demonology is that, okay, in order to deal with demons, I need the Bible, but I also need personal revelation. And that's very much also in Pentecost too. So what you need to understand is that, and this is a great view for all of you, because now those of you that have psychological issues, if you have depression, you have fear, you have anxiety, for me, it's my autism. All of that could be a demon of autism. Like this viewpoint creates this very hyper spiritual way of doing things. Like, you don't view your problems as I need to go talk to somebody. You view your problems as I got to go pray and deal with this demon correctly. So yeah, there's that. These demons are omnipresent because once they're doing everything everywhere all at once. Yes, they are. Yeah, it might be helpful to personify issues or emotions to deal with, as long as you're still aware of it. I can see what you're saying there, because sometimes we do that when in therapy, like I personify my problems, but it's also not healthy if you get past personification and don't realize it's personification anymore. Like, you really think that it's real, and I think that's the biggest problem. Thea isn't automatically delusion. Religious belief is not a minimum, but that does not mean stop something from definitely being delusional. Demon of theism. There's a demon of theism. I don't know. See, because he's going to actually identify some, and I really want to get that. Yeah, get me behind me, ADHD, because that's kind of what he's indicating, isn't it? Like, this is where he's at. Like, he's basically said that all of these things are demonic. So, maybe all of our problems, just we need to get the demons cast out of us, kind of thing. But the reason I'm focusing on, I'm listening to the sermon the first time I listened, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is still in the church. This guy has been dead for almost 20 years, but his doctrines have definitely survived. So there you have it.
That is a spirit that follows a family up. And I realized the same spirit had affected my father for many years.
Okay, he defined familiar spirit as a demon that follows a family. And so he introduces the idea of generational demon, harassment or possession or whatever, that people have, their families suffer from a certain thing because, the demons are there. I mean, it can't be a genetic thing. It can't be that maybe by hanging around it, you kind of pick up some of the stuff, but no, yeah. Must be the demon at the end. That's my take, and I stick to it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. He realized or imagined. Yes. You got to be aware, Fred, that Pentecostal preachers use different language to describe things. Like, his delivery is point on. Like, he's got a very good voice. You definitely can hear him. He enunciates his words very well. He's very typically English in that respect. You can tell, I could probably, if you, from just a slight accent and everything, I kind of tell he's English, but he's still, I want to show you that sometimes even the respectable preacher that has the suit and tie and looks really good and has good delivery as a public speaker is still peddling woo. So, hi, Elizabeth. Yes, where have you heard that before? Like, if you have grown up in the Pentecostal charismatic church that teaches demonology, you've heard this stuff before. Yes. So there you go.
So all I needed was one other scripture. Let me share it with you. Joel 2:32. It shall come to pass that whoever calls on the name of the Lord shall be delivered.
Okay. We need to stop. All the psychology, all the medicines, all the medical work, all the psychology and all that stuff needs to just quit. Because all we need to do is call upon the name of the Lord and you'll be delivered. So, yeah, so there you go. Yeah, get thee behind me, ADHD. There you go. Get thee behind me, autism. Get thee behind me, depression. Get thee behind me, anxiety. Get thee behind me, problems of anger. Like, I I don't know. But yes, you got to get used to religious language. Every religion, every sect has its own language, and Pentecostals talk about deliverance, and they assume everybody knows what they mean, but they're like, the demons are going to be cast out of you or go away from you and end up back in hell, and they won't be able to bother you anymore. So yes, embryos call in the name of the Lord to be delivered. What I found is the harder you fight it, the worse it gets. Make it work for you, and it becomes easier, trial and error. Evangelicals aren't as common in the UK as they are in America. Yes, they're not as common, but man, oh man, this is so familiar to me, Elizabeth. Like growing up in the Assemblies of God, I heard this language all the time, like all the time. Like demons were always responsible for everything. It was hilarious. So here we go. But he's just getting warmed up. So
I called on the name of Jesus and I was delivered. This thing, it was like a heavenly vacuum cleaner. It came down over my shoulders and just sucked this thing out. And I had struggled with it for years until I recognized it was not myself. It was another person seeking to afflict me. And I want you to understand, when you once realize you're dealing with a person who is not yourself, you're about 80% of the way to deliverance.
okay. Yes, I can't remember the guy's name, but I remember the him saying that, somebody saying that, and I'm as somebody who's now been diagnosed with autism and who has studied it, it's like that has done me more good than any of the prayer services where I was prayed over for my quote unquote problems that were supposedly demonic. But yes, yeah, I don't know how he defines it as a person. That's kind of my, but you got to remember, Michael, that a lot of this, a good preaching always leaves stuff vague. Like if a good public speaker wants you to use if he's trying to get you to have an emotional understanding of the definition, they'll leave it deliberately vague. So you just plug in your own emotionally based definition. This is how this works. Like when I was preaching, there were some times I said, do I really need to define that word? Because everybody's going to have a different definition of it that they have an emotional connection to. Why don't I just do it? Like, why don't I just leave that word there and everybody just connects it to it that way? A good preacher deliberately keeps some stuff vague. Everybody in his audience has an understanding what they want to be delivered from and what their definition of deliverance is. And he's just tapping into that when he says, you're dealing with a person, you're not dealing with yourself. Now, this is bullshit, okay, of a high order, because nowhere in this sermon does he ever actually prove that demons exist. He is dealing with a captive audience that already believes that they exist. Okay, and this is 1995. So I'm feeling some like late satanic panic vibes out of this sermon too. And I don't know how that was dealt with in other countries. I know how it was dealt with in the Midwest United States, where everybody was, rock and roll was of the devil. Certain activities were always demonic. The television was a demonic portal. It's like, so, and he's going to hit all that too in this sermon. It's going to be great. So, yes, you're not responsible. The devil made me do it. Yeah, is the horror you don't see. Yes, exactly. That's what he's doing. Okay, it's like, so I wasn't exposed to that in my Episcopal. They didn't talk about this. Yeah, I'm glad for you too. See, there's a Baptist preacher whose friends told him to get rid of meds and pray harder. Everyone prayed for him. He was still probably praying when he pulled the trigger. Yep. I have a very similar story, Katie, when I was in the ministry, that somebody prayed for somebody and she convinced this person that they didn't need their meds and all that other stuff. And 5 months later, we learned that person had deleted themselves. So, that's far too common in these circles. Like people, they don't want to take the meds, so they come up with a spiritual reason to deal with it. They don't want to go to the doctors anymore because they don't feel the doctor is working. So they have somebody pray for them. Oh, you're healed. And then they take off their meds and they do it, and something awful happens to them. But it's never the religion's fault. Oh, they just didn't have enough faith, or they didn't understand. Like this guy is basically saying the reason you aren't delivered is because you don't understand demons properly. You got to treat them as a person. Now, my thoughts are, okay, they're an invisible creature according to your definition. Can you show me how mind can exist apart from a brain? Okay, because that's going to go a long way to proving that your demons actually exist, because apparently they're as invisible as God. So, like, can you prove that to me? So, to count in my body, autism, ADAs. You're also going to need to understand, Decibel, there's a demon for every one of these. Oh, yeah. It would be funnier if it wasn't so true sometimes. Like I was in Pentecost for 20, 30 years of my, like my childhood, my youth, my young adulthood, well into when I was almost 40. So like I was like 37, 38 when I got out of it. And there's probably at least 12 stories I could tell you about that, where somebody was convinced to get off their meds, ended up either deleting themselves, ending up in a worse state. It's not funny. Okay. This stuff, like his doctrine, like you got this very respectable looking older gentleman, distinguished, delivering this woo. Okay. This is the power of this kind of preacher. This kind of preacher people listen to because he looks so respectable. He looks like he doesn't look like a person that would lie to you. Okay, but there's preachers like that all over the world that do this kind of stuff, that preach this kind of stuff. Okay, there's a reason why missionary efforts have increased around the world, everywhere but the United States, because they're going to places where they think people are more gullible. Okay, that's what they're doing. And people are being convinced of this stuff. Like it's just witch doctorism, but it's dressed up as Christianity. Okay, is what it is. So if it doesn't pay taxes, it's not a proper person. Okay. Oh, yeah. Take your meds, please. My advice is follow your doctor recommendation, take your meds. And if you're having problems, the person to have that discussion with is your doctor. So there you go.
Now, as I understand it, and let me say I've been dealing with demons for more than 30 years. I first got involved in 1963. Some people said, well, Brother Prince will soon give it up. He'll change his doctrine. I have to say, at the age of 80, I haven't given it up, and I haven't changed my doctrine. And I tell you.
And to a lot of these people, that's just the greatest testimony ever, that you just, for 30 years, you've been peddling this stuff. Thank you for peddling the stuff. And for me, it's like, I can now understand why this guy is so foundational to a lot of Pentecostal charismatic type theology of demons, because he did it for so long. He preached and taught about it for so long, and he is considered an expert in demons. Okay. Because of it. Okay. His longevity even extends to this day because, if you type, pastor talks about demons, there's a pretty good chance that Derek here, who's celebrating his 80th birthday on this particular occasion, is going to pop into your YouTube feed. Okay. I know I was surprised how many times I did the search and got him over and over and over again. Okay. So this is something to him. This is something that's central to his ministry. And because of that, people still reference him still to this day. So that's true. But I noticed that in the Assemblies of God skeptic, a lot of people wanted to be missionaries, especially to poorer countries. It's very interesting how that works, because you had to raise all your money ahead of time before you could go into mission field in the Assemblies of God. And you need to understand, in a poor country, the amount of money they were asking them to raise can make you live like a king in that country. Like, there was one of my parishioners went overseas to see this missionary in action and was surprised that they lived in like almost a mansion. But in that country, they could easily, afford it. So, yeah. Yeah, it's his 80th birthday in this recording. This recording is probably 1995. It's an old sermon. The problem I have with it, Elizabeth, is this same kind of theology and doctrine was still flowing around when I was in the Assembly of God, and it still exists to this day. I have friends that are still Pentecostals that talk this way. Everything's a demon. So, yes, listen to your doctor. Fact that my trials of life that are for product, these demons are working for me. Yes, Me too. I can feel you. Yeah, I know that's true. But I also play the game of trying to fool the algorithm. And I still got this guy. If I pretended to be a Christian looking for advice on demons, I still got this guy. If I pretended to be an atheist and still got this guy. So it's like apparently YouTube likes him. So because his videos do get a lot of views, even though he's dead. So a dead guy's still talking. So there you go. Yes, it's very annoying, as Elizabeth points out. But yes, it's very annoying. So he's giving himself kudos and props for sticking with something for 30 years, basically his beliefs about demons. So here we go.
One reason, it's scriptural, and number two, it works.
Okay, so he says the reason he sticks with this is it's scriptural, it's Bible-based, and two, that it works. I beg to differ. I was in Pentecost for a long time, 30 years. As a kid, I was a minister. I pastored 2 churches, was an associate as a Pentecostal preacher. The one thing I can tell you about this demonology stuff is people had to come to the altar every week about it. If it works so damn well, why are people still there every week praying about it and blaming themselves for the most part? Because they know the proper understanding of how to get rid of demons. But somehow they keep coming and they keep coming. And it's at this point where the preacher blames not the product, but the person who is selling it, who is trying to use it. You're saying it works. Yeah. My demons have done me good. Yeah. That's kind of the thing, because I get tired of people like being autistic. I get tired of people talking about autism like it's a disease. It's a condition. I'd rather call it a condition. It just influences me in a lot of ways because you're wired differently. Like, you're not wired like everybody else. I don't know what's so hard for people to understand about that, but I get frustrated with that. So we're dealing with an old guy, dead guy, who preaches about demons today. And so he's going to give us a lot of advice how demons can solve our attitudes. And I was looking forward to this, Bren, with hope, because maybe if I pray about my demons, I'll get better. So here we go.
I want to offer you 3 objectives that demons have. Number 1, to torment and torture. They are the torturers. Number 2, to keep you from knowing Christ as Savior. And number 3, if you come to know Christ as Savior, then to keep you from serving him effectively.
Okay, so this is the objectives of every demon, is to torment and torture you, to keep you from knowing Jesus, and keep you from serving effectively. Now, if I was in my old homiletics class, like in 1995, I'm trying to think what I was doing. I was in seminary. So if I was a good person examining this sermon, I would say, well, he's got his 3 points. Now he just needs his poem. But the idea, your idea, and keep you from knowing Christ. And then once you know Christ, to keep you from serving effectively. Yeah, these are the objectives of demons. So there you go. Yes. Demonology. Yes. Yes, there's some people that do that. I don't know how it works either. Verbal Being was really popular with all the UPC. He even did Pentecostal people praise him. He was not so much as a devil chaser, but a close. Yes. Yeah, I mean, there's that argument too, Blossom. Like, what is neurotypical? What does that mean? That sort of thing. So I agree with you there. Like, to me, all autism tells me is that you're different from other people's neurology to a point where we can notice what it is. Like, we can understand what it is. And I think my therapist is right. Like, there's autistic traits in probably every human being. It's just when they get to a certain level, they become autism. So there's that argument too. So the thing is, we're still learning about it. Damn thing we know for sure, though, is it's not caused by Tylenol. The only people that seem to think that are in the Health and Human Services in the United States. The one guy in charge that's in particular. So there you go. Yeah, we're not really freaks. It's just we're different. So my autism made me socially aware and conscious and less likely to fall into rhetorical manipulation and hide the yes. Like normal people get I hate dichotomies. My brain automatically like assumes a dichotomy is false. And there's another explanation. Yes. There's a lot of things that help me. But so if I'm sitting here as a member of the audience, okay, and if I rather let's put ourselves into Mr. Prince's shoes. He might be a very sincere believer. Okay, he gave up his atheism during World War II, and so he might be somebody who gave up the because no atheists and foxhole bullshit. So yes, but yes, how does he know it? Yes, Michael's pointing that out. Revelation. He knows all of this by revelation. He's either getting it from the Bible or he's got personal revelation that told him this. Okay, so as respect, he's wearing a tie, he's respectable looking, he's speaking very well, and he's still peddling bullshit. Okay, he's a typical salesman, still peddling bullshit. So there you go. The best salesmen are the people that look respectable, just so you know. There you go. Yes. Hey, Alex, good to see you. Well, I also have to ask if that causes autism, what about countries that don't have it as a medication and what's their excuse for having autistic people? Like I'm still trying to figure that out. Like there are certain countries where that isn't a medicine. They used it for pain and I'm wondering how they got it. So or in some cases why they don't have a very high influence of autism even though they use it all the time. So yes. You mean the book and the Bible or the other kind? Both. Yes. He's openly said that he had the scriptures to get him going, but it was the personal revelation from God that while he was praying that allowed him to understand this better. So there you go. Yeah, I'm sure that's the argument. So there you go. So you have your objectives of demons. They're torment. They can keep you from knowing Christ. Bonus, but if you turn out knowing it, they're going to make you ineffective. All right. Well, let's see what he does to prove this.
Now we have to distinguish between two things, what's called the flesh and demons, or evil spirits. The flesh is the old carnal nature that every one of us have inherited from Adam. All of us are descendants from Adam. And Adam did not beget any children until he was a rebel. And every descendant of Adam has the nature of a rebel in him. That's the old man. Now, the other thing that we deal with.
Okay, so there's a pretty typical carnal spirituality that every human being is just a piece of shit because somehow Adam, once he rebelled, he passes on his rebellion to everybody else. Now, this is, in my opinion, patently unfair. And it seems like God could have made a better human being that didn't do that. Like everybody stands on their own merit or on their own actions. But yes, so we're 100%, the descendants of Adam. So we're carnal. And he wants to make this distinction because he's really laid it down that, it's not your fault that you have depression. It's a demon of depression. It's not your fault. It's this other demon. And if you just pray the right way, do the right thing, you're going to get rid of all of that. So yeah, that's kind of one of the problems. Yeah, that's my point. Like there's different medicines depending on where you're at for pain. And so, why is the autism rate like unaffected by the different types of medication? Apparently, I don't get it. So yes, I get that Adam never existed, but you need to understand when you're dealing with preachers of woo, they're going to tap into that. In 1995, I'm fairly certain that a lot of these people just accepted the Bible as history still. So you're not going to get headwise in talking about Adam never existing. So cure was frontal lobotomy. Philbert probably apple ends were just sterile. I don't know. See, I have always challenged that. Even when I was a theist, it was like I see, because I don't think see, you got to understand, Katie, that believers don't like it. They don't like to imagine biblical characters, excuse me, either engaging in sexual activity or dealing with something sexual or talking about procreative activities. They just don't like to deal. They don't like to think about, okay, you have Adam and Eve, they're both naked and getting busy on the grass. They don't want to think about that. And so the theory has always been that Adam and Eve sinned like within days of being created. Like they didn't have a lot of time to produce children. They didn't have enough time. So that's yes. Yes. Okay. All right. There we go. There we go. They didn't defecate. Yeah, I'm not sure they defecated either. Like, so there's a lot of problems with the theology of an Adam and Eve being sinless. And then all the problems that we have are because of sin. Because like, if you don't have a digestive system that breaks things down for digestion, which kills the item, by the way, you don't have digestion, you don't have food or a need for it. And so what are we saying? We just ate for shits and giggles until we had to eat to survive after the fall. Like, yeah. You will find it, Blossom. You will find it. There is parody porn. I think it was, I think even Kate, I think it might have been Katie that when we asked about who's in chat, who one time, a long time ago, asked about it, is there really like porn for this? And then she went off and looked it up and came back. And she's like, oh my God. So yeah, you might find some. You might find some. So there's that. But yes. I think Judas, for without him we couldn't be saved. Yeah, you gotta have somebody getting Jesus killed. You're not as silly as I look. Okay, there we go. Go. I don't know what was happening with the fig leaf if Adam and Eve, when Adam got really excited. I'm not sure it would have been adequate, but yeah. The original breatharians. Hey, Joshua. Yeah, maybe valid. Maybe valid. But, you know, his whole thing is we got this carnal nature from being a descendant of Adam. And I've always asked the question, why does that even work? Like you have a lot of, like there's statements by God in the Old Testament law of, you know, I will visit the punishment on this generation, the next generation, the next generation. That becomes the basis in Pentecost and charismatic circles for generational curses that have to be broken and cast out. And you have this generational curse broken, supposedly, and then you have a kid, and lo and behold, just like you are probably genetically dispositioned to depression and anxiety, they have depression and anxiety too. Weird. It's almost like you didn't break his spirit or anything of anything. And then, of course, the preacher will say, well, they just didn't believe right, didn't pray right, didn't, you know, think about it right, and that's why they still have a problem. So yeah, there's porn for everything. Oh my goodness, but yes. So he said, okay, the one side is the flesh. Now the other side is going to be the demon part.
Is evil spirits. And it's important to know what you're dealing with, because the remedies are completely different. See, I was dealing with a spirit of heaviness, and I was trying to deal with it as if it were the flesh. I was trying to crucify it, because that's the remedy for the flesh. But you can't crucify a demon, nor can you cast out the flesh. You have to know what you're dealing with. A man came to me once and he said, Brother Prince, I want you to cast this demon out of me. I said, what's your problem? And he began to tell me his difficulty in relating to his wife. I said, I don't think I can cast that out. It's not a demon, it's your fleshly nature. You have to crucify it. So we need to know, am I dealing with my flesh or am I dealing with a demon?
Okay, they broke right there, so I'm going to break right there. That part of the theology is actually quite prevalent. And I'm going to tell you, the actual effect of that is to confuse the hell out of people. because they will sit there and say, oh, is this my flesh or is this a demon? And they'll be debating with that for years. Like, and it's also becomes an excuse. Yeah, there's the poem. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's 3 points in a poem at that point. So, they're here to torment and harass you. They're keep you to finding Christ. They're here to, and they're here to not be effective in your witness for God and Jesus. And yeah, so there you go. But there you go. Okay. I don't believe in gods. Fred says, I don't believe in gods, angels, demons, titans, or unicorns. I don't believe. I accept the evidence pending further information. There you go. And thank you once again, Fred. Appreciate you and your support. It's always your flesh. See, if you fail, skeptic, it's always your flesh. If you succeed, it was you finally got rid of the demons. This sets this shit up so bad, skeptic. Like if you've dealt with any of this stuff ever in your life, you know how this is great preaching in the sense of salesmanship tactic, because, it's like, well, you have a problem. My deliverance ministry shit isn't working. So now you have multiple ways to blame the customer. Well, you didn't recognize it as the right problem. Oh, that's a fleshly problem, not a deliverance problem. That's a deliverance problem, not a fleshly problem. So yeah, but yeah, it creates its own problem. It creates its own issue with people being confused. Okay. And the thing about good preaching is it looks really logical, but it confuses the hell out of people when they try to apply it. Like, he's trying to be real practical and application oriented, like a lot of preachers. And, he's very low key. I mean, he's not like some of the other guys I've done that's jumping all over the stage and, just screaming to the high heavens, trying to get an emotional response. He's still getting an emotional response, but he's doing it with the way he's putting things together. And so it's like, okay, if I'm not getting delivered of a spirit of, autism, then, well, autism. So now I have to ask a question. Is autism a flesh thing or is it a demon thing? Okay. And so there's so much ambiguity there. How can you know the difference? How can you know? If it doesn't talk back, then it's the flesh. If it talks back, then it's still the flesh, but you need help. That's probably valid, Michael. That's probably valid. Yeah. It's amazing to me that people don't notice this stuff, but it's like, you're going to be confused by that. People are going to be like, okay, is this a flesh? Is it a demon? It's designed to create another layer of, if this doesn't work, we can blame the person that's using the product, not the product itself. Okay, we can't sit there and say the product's bullshit. It's just you didn't apply it right. It's just a very sophisticated form of doing that. And it was a Protestant minister. Okay, there you go. Oh yeah, seems like any fleshly needs to be crucified. Yes, that's how you crucify the flesh, because that's what the Bible says. Crucify the flesh and its lusts thereof. Follow as your example Jesus Christ. I am fairly certain a few people have taken that literally. In fact, there are stories about some people who have taken that literally. And yes, that's a problem. All right. Let's see what else he's going to say, because this is going to get fun.
And I will give you a little list of characteristic activities of demons. Number one, they entice. There's not a single person here above the age of 6 who has not at some time been enticed to do evil.
Okay, so the entire human race, if you're over 6 years old, has been at some point enticed to do evil. I'm not sure I agree with that anymore. I mean, we all have our stuff. Okay, everybody's got their stuff. Good, bad, ugly, whatever it is. But he's basically saying now, if you feel like you want to do something evil, okay, if you want to do something evil, it's probably a demon enticing you to do evil. Okay, it's not something you need to deal with, go get therapy for. It's something, Yeah, I mean, but see, but that's just it. He's just said that demons entice you. So is it your flesh enticing you, or is it a demon enticing you? Once again, this confusion and this teaching. Enticing. Stand-up preaching clubs. There you go. There you go. I've been asked to do that on this channel, is to pretend to preach something and actually be preaching atheism or something. I don't know if I could do that. I might have flashbacks. So there you go. But demons exist to entice you to evil, and everybody's had it happen. Yeah, the age of 6, just reached that birthday, but you're 5 years old. No evil? Apparently not. Yeah, it's like they say these words, and it's all emotionally based. It's all emotionally based. Yes, there's a demon of chocolate ice cream enticing you, Fred. It's a demon. Not the ice cream, it's a demon. Remember that.
Very often it comes in words. Well, you see that nice gold pencil there? Pick it up. Nobody will know. If you dropped your pencil, they would do it to you. Anything that comes to you in words comes from a person. So you know that enticement comes from a person, a demon. Number 2, they harass, or I think we say in English, harass. I'm bilingual and I have to remember which language I'm speaking. Anyhow, harass or harass, that's what they do. I have this little...
Okay, so there's the joke in the sermon. You always got to have a joke to lighten the load. Spoonful of sugar and all that. I'm not sure it went over really well even with his audience, because, is it harass or harass or harass or just don't drop the soap, never the soap. You give in to that demon? Okay, well, there you go. So, say, thanks, Decibel, appreciate it. That's 3. So Adam and Eve were possessed by anxiety when they hid from God, fearing his anger. How did they know what anger was? And God gets angry when all was good and pure before then. Exactly. This is the plot. The biggest plot hole in the entire Bible is the origin story of humanity. Well, besides the actual creation of the universe. Like the first 3 chapters are the biggest plot hole. Like there are so many plot holes in the first 3 chapters of Genesis that it's ridiculous. Like, how did they know what anger was if they didn't know what sin was? How did they know that it was wrong to take from the tree if they're not supposed to take of the tree and that's a commandment? Like it's plot hole city. Okay, like there's just too much. It doesn't make sense. Elizabeth is just like right on it. It just doesn't make sense. So yeah, the generational stuff is political too. Yeah. Her assessment caused him to sin. Yes, there you go. See, because that is the other part of the logic of the story of chapter 3 is that I always love how Adam puts that as a character. The woman who you gave me. Like there's a double blame there. Like I'm not, I'm sorry. The devil enticed Eve to take the apple and it's all her fault. It's just so present in that story. Oh my gosh. So there you go. But yes, so now you've been harassed. Now harassing demons are very interesting. Let's hear him talk about
Example
it.
in my mind, it's just not directly based on any single experience. There's this businessman, he's had a terrible day in the office. Everything went wrong, the air conditioning failed, his secretary didn't type his letters right, and then he got in the car to go home and he got in a jam in the motorway and he spent an hour sitting in his car amidst all the fumes. And finally when he gets home, his wife hasn't got supper ready and the children are running around screaming. And at that moment, as they say in America, he blows his stack. He loses control. He begins to shout and scream. And that demon of anger that has been following him around all day slips in. And after that, he's a slightly different person. From after that, at times, something comes over him and he wounds the people he loves most, his wife and children. And his wife looks at him from time to time and sees something in his eyes she never saw before. And then he's repentant and penitent, and he says, I'm sorry, I don't know what made me do it. Well, we do know what made him do it. It was the demon of anger, see? It had harassed him or harassed him, and in the moment of weakness, slipped in. Then demons torment. They
it wasn't a really good joke. That's probably the problem. It wasn't even a good joke to his audience. But yes, now, so we got this story about this dude, and he admits at least it's a hypothetical, like it's not a real story, but it's something that everybody can relate to, right? Somebody, they're being bothered all day, you're having a bad day, everything is going wrong, you get home and you blow your top at your family, and everybody can kind of relate to that story. Why can't it just be a bad day? Why does it have to be demons finally got in there? The demon of anger got in there and just did it. So, but yes, Katie, that when you read that line by Adam again, read it again sometimes, you'll chuckle because Adam is literally pointing two fingers. He's pointing it at his wife Eve, and he's pointing at Yahweh God. Like, if you hadn't given me this woman, we wouldn't be in this problem. So he goes after God too. It's hilarious. Yes, it's human psychology reacting to stress, but we can't do that. I've been there too. Like, I'm so glad I got rid of this idea because I used to think this way when I got mad at my wife and kids, like the devil's just getting after me. And it's like, no, you're just being, you had a bad day. And what you should have done when you came home is told everybody that you had a bad day. Can I postpone any bullshit that you want to deal with me for like an hour so I can collect myself and have something good happen? Like, can I go to the medicine cabinet and get some whiskey? Can I, for some of you in the audience, can I quick, I need to go roll something and smoke it and I'll be better. It's like, that's what needs to happen, but you're blaming a demon. So you end up not actually dealing with your problem. So yes, increasing frustration over things not going away is causing them to snap. Also, with the secretary, I don't know Dragon Rider, like his secretary did it. This is a thing back in the 90s when this video was probably made. The reason I'm dealing with it is you could plop this guy down in a modern Pentecostal charismatic church and they would totally accept what he's saying. Like, this is part of their belief system, and he could fit in still to this day. So, but yes, blame the woman. Yes, there we go. Don't cause stress. They do tangle it. I thought that was Gremlins. Isn't it Gremlins that tangle up your cables? It might also be Fangs being the trickster guy that is testing you. Let's see if did Earl, welcome. You fell asleep. That's okay. You're going to have fun with this one because we just got this guy who, is preaching Adam and Eve, and that's why we all have a fleshly nature. And I was pointing out to some of our folks that Adam is kind of like pointing double fingers there when he gets confronted by God. He says, like, the woman you gave me. And our preacher kind of brought this up, and then he's telling the story about this guy is having a bad day. So yeah, it's kind of a new video. You didn't miss much. Sorry. You're going to have fun. But yes, so we've gotten through entice, harass. So now demons are here to torment us. So let's see what happens.
The tormentors. They torment spiritually with the suggestion, God doesn't love you, you're not really saved. That's a common form of torment. They torment emotionally with fear. They torment physically with all sorts of horrible things like arthritis and so on. They are the tormentors. And Jesus,
did you catch that one? Like, he had this guy is big into demons being the cause of illness as well. So like, if you have arthritis or something like that, it's a demon. It's a demon of arthritis. Okay. So it's like, but basically it's like, if you have a problem, it may not be that you're not looking at the thing correctly. It may just be a demon's making it difficult for you. Okay. So there you go. It's okay, Earl. Listen, I am sure sometimes when our Lord takes a nap on your lap, you're thinking, you know what, I'm going to join that. I'm going to join that. Trust me, so there's that. Yeah, but yes, but I'm just saying that if you're sitting there and Fangs is taking a nap on your lap and you're like, he is so peaceful and so cute, I'm going to join that. I'm going to join that, and I can perfectly understand. So there you go. Yes, Earl. Yes, blame the sleepy rabbit. I'm sorry. The reason I bring that up is I've done that. Like when I had my dog Gabriel, and he was a puppy, and he used to sleep on my lap. I've had an awful time when he was sleeping on my lap, staying awake myself. Anybody else experience this problem? Like this cute little beagle, like sleeping with his floppy ears on my lap, and I'm like, man, he just looks so peaceful. I think I'm going to join that. And there you go. But yes, but yeah, here we go. So the demons, they entice us, they torment us, they harass us. What else are they going to do? There's a long list.
Jesus said, listen, if you don't forgive your fellow believer, God will deliver you to the tormentors. Who are they? The demons. A lot of Christians are in the hands of demons because they've refused to forgive some other person.
Okay, I want to break that down for a minute, because notice what he did. Because with that logic, if you're having doubts about your faith, it's a demon. If you're not forgiving people like the Bible tells you to do, it's a demon. Even though in truth, you may not really have a good reason to forgive that person. Like they haven't repented, they haven't done anything. Like I've done this before with the Christian doctrine of forgiveness. It just sets up abuse. But notice what he did. Now you can blame the demons for all that. You're not going to blame, like if you're married to an unbelieving spouse who gets angry all the time and screams at you, well, that's just the demon of anger in him, and I need to forgive him because it's not really his problem. Notice what he did there. Like that mentality is so present in a lot of Christians. Like it's not their fault. It's not their fault. It's not. How many times have you heard of an abuse victim who makes excuses for their abuser? How is what he just said in the last 3 minutes not setting that up? Like, oh, he got angry at me. Well, that's a demon of anger. It's not him. Okay, it's not him, and I need to forgive him no matter what he does to me, because it's really, he's being controlled by demons. He's being harassed and tormented by demons, and it's not really his fault. And I need to follow Jesus's teaching to forgive him. Yeah, that's not going to set you up for more and more abuse down the line, is it? I'm being very sarcastic there. Okay, I used to see this all the time in the Pentecostal church, and I was surprised how many of the guys that were in my church were actually abusers. It was quite high. Like it was like, looking back at it, I'm like, yeah, and it's because the ladies are just letting them, because they got to forgive, and it's a demon. It's all this other shit. So yeah, it's not that. So yeah, the 6 million demon that had to be surgically removed because the prayers of the Catholic hospitals didn't work. Gotcha. Yes, drowsiness by osmosis. It's the thing. God is such a sweetheart. Arthritis, yes. He basically said arthritis is a spiritual thing. Like there's a demon of arthritis. He's very much into this. You'll see this later, I think, a couple of times. So, but yes, you'll see that physical ailments are caused by demons as well. Might makes right. Got it. It's all your fault. We get more demons, we accumulate. That tracks. There might be some proof. Oh, yes, there you go. But so we got torment. Let's see if there's any other things.
Then demons compel. They make us do things we don't really want to do. That some of the things they compel you to do are really comical. I had a letter after a deliverance service from a woman aged 25, and she said, for the first week in my life that I can remember, I haven't been biting my nails. What made her bite her nails? a demon.
Oh, I look at this stuff now and I laugh at it now. But this is a demon of nail biting. There's a nail biting demon. So yeah, there we are. This is where we come. So there you go. Yes, rabbits can be very heavy, especially if they make you warm and want to sleep. It's awfully inefficient. Yes, I was about to say that, Brent. Like but there's a demon of nail biting, and I'm thinking to myself, what the literal hell did he just say? And oh my goodness. Fangs ain't heavy used by brother. Can't be. Fangs is the deity of nibbling, but but a demon. No. I'm sure that Yahweh has classified Fangs as a demon because of their rivalry, but yeah, no. Since you were 14 hormones and arthritis, double whammy. There you go. I'm just saying it's a demon, Earl. You just got to pray the demons away. So there you go. And you got to remember, you're dealing with a person. That's the part you missed. You're not dealing with the flesh sometimes. You're dealing with a person that's a demon, and you got to get rid of them. Yes, I'm well aware that it's an anxiety response, but he's already he's going to talk about a demon of fear later. And so, but apparently there's a specific one that also causes you to bite your nails. So there you go. It's a punchline for everything. Oh my goodness. Yes, a nail blighter. So there you go.
Can you believe that? I know it's true. And then demons enslave. They make you slaves. You see, people can sin and stop sinning if they decide. For instance, a man may get drunk and then decide, I won't get drunk, and he doesn't drink anymore. He's sinned, but he's not enslaved. But an alcoholic is a man who can't stop drinking. He is enslaved. Now, if you put compel and enslave together, you get the word addiction. And in my personal opinion, almost every addiction of any kind is demonic.
Okay, I got to stop there. So, for those of you, and I'm trying to be very sensitive to all who have had life-controlling problems, as somebody once taught me to say. So, if you have an addiction of any kind, like if it's a thing where you're being addicted, that's a demonic thing. So he's saying that's not your flesh. That's genuinely a demon. Okay, so it's like creator of the it really sucks. New cure for nail biting, demon be gone, nail polish. You may be onto something there, Katie. I would make that. Go make some and sell it in some church. You'll make money. Yeah, well, he's 80 years old at this point, so I'm going to let it go. He'll live, another 11 years after this. So he got to the ripe old age of 91. So, but in this one, he's celebrating his 80th birthday, talking about demons, because it's like the cornerstone of his ministry at that point. So, slave to the rhythm. Yes. Don't need to do this. Yeah, well, the idea, Bren, is to have some otherism to blame for your problem. Okay, like we do this a lot as human beings. We want somebody else to be responsible for our problems. And sometimes it's true that somebody else has caused something in us and it causes various problems. But sometimes it's us. And we need to get rid of it, or deal with it, or get some effective dealing with it. But what this doctrine does in the Pentecostal church is it allows you to not focus on it being your problem. It's just you're being harassed, you're being compelled by demons to do certain things. So you need to deal with the demons. Okay, so there's how the words work. I don't know anything, so imagine it. Now show me the evidence. You're addicted to your faith. Is that a demonic? That's a good question. Because I classify people that are religious as addicted as well. They do their religion for the same reasons a lot of addicts do other things. Like I've had this discussion when me and Earl talked about autism many months ago. That, you know, she talked about how autistic people have a lot of addictions, and somebody might ask what mine was, but mine was religion. Like my religion filled that void for me, and that's why it was so emotionally hard to give it up. Okay, is this addiction to having this thing that gives me peace or an endorphin rush or whatever was always there throughout my life. Okay, and then when I got rid of it, people ask me, have I struggled with other addictions? Yes, of course I did. When I first realized that Christianity and belief in God wasn't true, alcohol kind of was there for me for the last 2 years of my ministry. Like I don't know if I was a full-blown alcoholic, but I remember the barriers to that dropping, and I started drinking a lot more than I used to. Okay. Other addictions could be there too. Like I look for a lot of things just to make me feel good. You know, I'm touch sensitive, so rubbing my arms might be considered an addiction because it keeps me from getting touch starved. So it's like there's a lot of things that play into that. So yeah, cocaine was a hell of a demon. Yeah, I'm sure it was. Like he's basically trying to blame demons for what are inherently human problems, that humans need to find constructive ways of dealing with it. And this allows the Pentecostal, the believer, to be addicted to something and have a regular excuse for it. Okay, they have a very regular excuse. Yes, demons cause you to bite your nails. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, Ron. We used to believe this stuff. I used to believe this. Like this stuff was candy to me back when I was an Assembly of God Pentecostal boy. Like this was stuff that I would have been sitting at this guy. This is 1995, so there's a probably good chance that I might have heard this sermon at some point, didn't realize who it was. And this is the kind of stuff that they had. So yeah. To me, you're probably very close. Religious people, it's an acceptable addiction. So, oh, ouch. Now, you got to understand at this point, Elizabeth, that when a preacher speaks in a Pentecostal church, there's that authority bullshit that they give with every pastor. Like he's Holy Spirit filled, he's filled with the Spirit, he's a very Spirit-filled teacher or whatever. So you can't question whatever he says because he's making a lot of claims without evidence, isn't he? Like he's making a crap ton of them. Preachers do this every Sunday. They make a ton of claims without any evidence. Okay. But it's accepted because he's filled with the Spirit. He's a Spirit-filled believer. He's a preacher. God has anointed him for the service. Don't touch the Lord's anointed. Don't go against them. So he can stand up there and preach like this, knowing that he's never going to be confronted, ever. So, yeah, stimming would be a demon to this guy. Yep. Some are addicted, some aren't, I suppose. Religion is a spectrum like drug use. Yes, I would agree with that too. Like some people go to church every Sunday, but it doesn't affect how they treat other people. Like it doesn't affect their daily life. Like it's a once a week thing. It's kind of like some people still go out to the bar every Friday night, have a few drinks, and then go home. You know, it's like there's that level of religious addiction, and there's other levels of religious addiction. It's the fundamentalists like this guy that I worry about. So,
and there are a lot of respectable addictions. Some very unrespectable, some respectable. But if you are addicted, you have a problem. And your problem, I think, in 90% of the cases, is a demon. Demons defile. They make us feel dirty and unclean. They project evil, impure images and thoughts and words into our minds. And I've talked with people at various times who said, Just when I'm getting closest to the Lord, when I really want to worship him, these horrible things come into my mind. And I said, you can be sure it's a demon. Anything that wants to keep you from worshiping God is a demon. Then
okay, so you took the words out of my mouth, Earl. I don't know. Yeah, basically, like this is the way religion operates, Bren. Like they try to stimulate the same areas that an addict does. There's a reason why, like religious addiction counseling is quote unquote so successful. Okay, in the fact that they just basically replace one addiction for another. For instance, the one I know the best is Teen Challenge because I used to support them as a pastor. But what they do is they take an addicted person, they have to have a certain regimen, which is addiction counseling based across the board, like getting a regimented life, doing things in a certain order. But Teen Challenge will sit there and make you read the Bible, memorize passages, pray an hour a day, like go to church every week, every day, engaged in religious activities. They would do outreaches to churches where they talk about their stuff and give their testimony, et cetera, et cetera. What is that, but not also building an addictive behavior to the religion? And if they start feeling good about what the religion has done for them, the endorphin rush is still the same, then yeah, it's very easy to move a person from one addiction to another. So that's kind of that. So there you go. But yes, he's basically saying that the only good addiction is a religious one. Did you do this to me, Fred? You did, didn't you? All right. Now in order to put the hat on, I gotta change earphones here quickly. So all right. So here we go. All right. So there's that. And what did we win? Who won? I haven't even looked. Oh, it's the Holy Bunny hat. Imagine my surprise on a Saturday when the only time a Holy Bunny hat is offered. There you go. So now I have to be very, very careful about, and Fred has this addiction now that he's admitted to. Hi, I'm Fred, and I'm addicted to making the Rabyd Atheist wear his funny hat. So, so there you go. Yeah, Fangs will take a fruit cup. Okay, there you go. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm doing okay. I mean, I've only got about a third of this guy's sermon left to deal with, so I might just stick it out and finish it. But I've been known to go over 2 hours too. Saturdays tend to be a little bit longer, so because I have time, I don't have to rush off to work, and I can kind of relax a little bit more. So, need a cure. Okay, thanks, appreciate that. Yeah, he clearly doesn't understand how anxiety works. No, yeah, no. So there you go. All right. Well, let's move along.
demons deceive. They are behind all forms of religious deception. Paul said,
So if it's behind all forms of religious deception, does that mean all religion is the product of demons and deception, like including his own? Like the thing about this guy that puzzles me in his background is like after he gets saved in World War II and he starts his ministry, he does not join a denomination or ministry. He instead keeps very neutral about it. So I'm wondering if there's a part of this guy's theology that says anything that looks too religious is also inspired by demons. So this puts him in an interesting position because he's trying to appeal to a very broad group of people in Pentecostals and charismatics, but maybe he's just taking the tact, well, don't get too religious about it. So I don't know. You do like the silly hat, but all is well for me. I'm doing actually pretty good. I mean, working on a few things, but as always, we should all work on stuff. But it's getting harder and harder to do stuff right. So there you go. But yeah, so now we have demons doing all kinds of things that, if they're involved in deception, then I would have to say they were very involved in the creation of every religion. The guys basically said so. So yeah, see, I did a little bit of that too. Like, if you watch me stream, there's a couple of things that you can kind of see. I rock just slightly back and forth. That's me just making sure I can keep moving. And because of my touch sensitivity, I find it very easy to get touch starved. And so you'll see me, like, I'm doing it right now. I'm rubbing my legs and my thighs just to stop them from slightly aching like they do when I don't get enough touch. And I do the same with my arms, my back, my shoulders. And I wonder back in the day if a lot of that kind of behavior was just seen as demonic. And that's, see, I've told people, given some people's behavior and how we understand it now, I understand how back in the day when superstition reigned, how people's medical and psychological conditions could have been mistaken for something else and got them into a lot of trouble. That's why I kind of like to stay in an enlightened scientific age, So I'm addicted. I do partake in this. Let's see. Norse, Egyptian, Greek, etc. demonic. Why not Christianity, which seems to me more of a mess than the others? There you go. It might be easier to say what demons don't do, but I don't think he takes that route. Once again, this is another preaching tactic, Michael, where you create a list of problems. Notice it's a real shotgun approach. Like, something's going to register with some member of the audience, but not everything is going to register. So if you make a list of 8 things that demons do, well, I'm not being defiled by demons, but I feel like I'm being harassed. Those words can be used so interchangeably and do so many different things. It's not surprising that he's doing this. Like, preachers do this. They want to hit the largest group of people they possibly can. And he's absolutely doing that right now.
In 1 Timothy chapter 4, in the last times, some will depart from the faith, that's Christians, giving heed to deceiving spirits and doctrines of demons. And believe me, my dear brothers and sisters, there are a lot of different deceiving spirits with doctrines that are demonic, and they're very near to all of us.
And there you go. There's another thing, because this guy's big into spiritual warfare. So now he's like cast a wedge between himself and all that, between all this stuff of which is the true faith. There's doctrines that'll take you away from the true faith and people will fall away. So now you're constantly worried as a believer, if you're listening to this stuff, of whether or not you're staying with the faith or some demon has deceived you off the path. And so it's like, yeah, how does the audience know that is not talking about? They don't. But because he's the perceived authority in the person that's pure, it's like he can get away with it. So I'll check it out later, Bryn. But yeah, I get it. I get it. I get what he's doing. I'm the purveyor of truth. You need to stick with my stuff. By the way, this guy also has a lot of books that are still selling and still sell to this day. So there you are.
Finally, demons make people weak or sick or tired or kill them. I dealt with a woman once. This is a remarkable situation. 72 different demons came out of her. She was a respectable woman. She was a registered nurse. She was charismatic, Pentecostal, but she had 72 demons. I didn't count them, but there was a woman making a little note of the names. And in the middle of this, it lasted 5 hours. She said, "Oh, I'm so tired. I can't go on. I can't take any more." And I thought, well, poor woman, she really is tired. And then the Lord showed me, that's not the woman, that's the demon. I said, you spirit of tiredness, come out of this woman. And it said, not the woman, it said, that's right, she's always tired. She's tired when she gets up, she's tired when she's going to bed. She's too tired to read the Bible, too tired to pray. When that spirit of tiredness came out of her, she was no longer tired. We finished the deliverance. Demons make you go to sleep. There's a spirit of slumber.
See, there you go, Earl. You fell asleep, missed part of the show because of a demon. Yeah, like he's doing this deliverance service for 5 hours. Now, you need to understand, Michael, I have been in a revival service when I was a kid and a teenager that lasted that long. I remember revival meetings used to go on all week when I was a teenager, and I hated them because I would get out of school. We'd have like an hour or so. Then we would go to the revival meeting, and those services would last 3-4 hours. You go home, go to sleep, and go back to school, and then do it again. So yeah, he's showing off, but it's not completely a flex because there's a lot of people that do long services. So this sermon is longer because they've edited out a section of it and got just to the meat of it with all the PowerPoints and all that jazz. So there you go. But yes, you've been possessed by demons all day, Earl, and one of them caused you to fall asleep and miss the show. It wasn't fangs and, sleeping by osmosis. It was actually a demon. So seek medical attention if symptoms last long. But yes, he's relating a story that probably did happen. And this one lady was like writing, she writes down that this lady had 72 demons in her and she was a Pentecostal believer. Now, my Pentecostal theology was, how is she a believer in getting demon possessed? That would be my first thoughts about this. So I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know how that works. Okay. But yes, as he's recounting this story, I'm like, okay. But this is kind of the basis because he is big into, I found him like casting out demons of various physical ailments. And this is where he gets that. So there you go. There you go. Yes. But yes, I was never so glad when I hit high school, Michael, because after school, for at least the fall, I had to suit up with the pads and go practice. And we were often at practice till 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, for football. And I didn't have to go to revival meetings during that time because my dad's like, yeah, you're too tired from football practice already. Go home, go to bed. And by the time I hit my junior and senior years, I was driving. So I just drive home and go to bed. So yeah, yes. Oh, to be young and limber, yes. I think that's true. I think people harassing you, like I can't imagine being this woman. Like you're being told that you're full of all these demons, and he's already cast out 72, and then he's got to throw in the demon of tiredness. Like the reason you're tired is demon possession or demon harassment or whatever the hell he wants to put on it. And I'm like, no, dude, she's been 5 hours in your service and she's tired. It's like, yes. So there you go. But yeah, I don't get this guy of how he's going to say something similar to that. Like, it's not that she was tired because she was exhausted. It was the demon of tiredness. It's like, oh my God. It's like,
It's referred to both in the Old and the New Testament. Have you ever considered that you can sit up till 2 a.m. watching something that you probably shouldn't be watching on the television? But if you decide to read your Bible, you go to sleep in 10 minutes. Is that right? That's not natural.
well, it's absolutely natural. Have you read this thing? Have you really read this thing? Because I'm sorry, there are certain portions of this thing that is boring as anything else. Like I challenge you to read through Numbers without nodding off. Come on, man. I I brought my Bible out of retirement today because of this statement that he said. I'm like, have you read this thing? Like, there are parts of this book that are like boring as hell. Okay. I'm telling you, as soon as I heard that part, I like laughed. I'm like, dude, have you really read the Bible? Like, do you maybe think that maybe television at the time was more entertaining than the Bible, and that's why that was a problem? Like, I am sorry, I've studied the Bible. There are certain parts that I studied that I had to fight through it because I was falling asleep. Okay, like there's some boring stuff in there, like all the different ways that you can sacrifice animals. So what? You know, it's possible maybe it was his joke. People actually laughed for that one, so that was a good joke. There you go. So, horse written fast. I mean, this, don't give me the insomnia demon. I was thinking that too, Katie. Well done. But yeah, like, you know, maybe you got to get rid of the insomnia demon, so you need to get some sleep because you haven't been sleeping. So maybe the Bible got rid of the insomnia demon by being boring, so you fell asleep. I mean, as soon as he said that, I'm like, you're making my jokes for me. Yes, definitely high five on that, Katie. Yeah, but that's the thing, Elizabeth. These preachers pass themselves off as respectable, but when you put what they say and what they believe under the lens, it doesn't work out too well, does it? Okay, yeah, it doesn't work out too well. Like he's like, oh, you can watch television for 3 hours, but you can't read the Bible for 10 minutes. I'm like, that's because the Bible's boring, dude. Like there's a lot of parts of it that are just straight up boring. There's no excitement to it. There's a reason why, like today, they give kids a comic book version of the Bible and make it the action Bible. And they leave out the parts that aren't action oriented because otherwise kids wouldn't read it. Okay. It's like, it's bad. Okay. And I'm legit laughing at that one. That was just too funny.
There's something there that doesn't mind your watching television, in fact, probably wants you to watch it, but does mind your reading the Bible or praying. All right, those are some activities of demons. Now, the main areas in which they operate. I have to give this in a very condensed form, you understand? I'm writing a book about it. Please pray for me. It's not an easy book to write. I discovered about 10 different kinds of spirits or demons mentioned in the Old Testament and about 20 in the New. That's 30. But that's just a little sampling. There are hundreds of different kinds of demons. The main area that they affect, I believe, is emotions and attitudes. And behind every negative emotion and attitude, there is a corresponding demon. That doesn't mean you've gone.
Okay, I want you to understand the implications of what he just said. Behind every emotion and attitude, there is this corresponding demon. This allows a person to have any kind of emotion they want and blame it on something else. Like this is part and parcel to politics, religion, social conditioning. Make sure that you have people having the right emotions about the right things, because then you can implant anything you want. And, I learned this, in my poli-sci classes. We talked about some of the experiments that people were done in sociology. And it's like, if you can get people to feel about something very strongly, you can implant any idea. This is kind of where he's going, because he's going to sit there and talk about emotions. Yeah, I mean, he kind of says, I get the negative part, but what do you mean by negative? He hasn't really qualified that. Like, what do you mean? Yeah, there might be a demon of happiness too. You can be too happy. I've been in some churches that obviously was not the problem, but so there you go. But here you go.
Not the demon, but that means that the demon's there trying to get you. For instance, you can get angry, and it's not a demon. It's just you. It's your flesh. But if you get angry and can't control yourself, and get angry when you don't want to get angry, that's a demon. Let me give you a list of some of the commonest names that I've dealt with. And another thing about demons is they operate in gangs. When one gets in, it opens the door for the next. And if you find certain demons, you can always look for their friends. Let's take one.
So the demons, they work together. They have friends. Every demon has their corresponding friend. So there might very well be a demon of joy and happiness. How many books are in my copy of the Bible? I don't know. I have 66. I was a Protestant preacher with a Protestant Bible, thanks to Martin Luther. But I read all the other ones. Like I read them all in seminary, like all the Apocrypha, the Maccabees and all that stuff. Yes. Yes. Preschool psychology. There you go. Demon Gangster's Paradise. There you go. I was starting to think like, what's a good joke? But yeah, Dragon Rider made me too. But yes, you got to bring your gang. See, considering that humans have some gangs are named demons. So what do demons name their gangs? Like what's a mascot for each demon gang? Like, you know, the unhappiers, the harassers. How does that work? How does that work when I don't know. Do the depression demons get together and they call themselves the depressed demons? Like, do they have a gang for that? Like, hey, Simos, how you doing, man? I assume Saturday Night at the Atheist is winding up. So there we go. The rabbit, you're back and the rabbit hat is on. Yeah. I made my money and I'm going to wear the hat. So that's why they thought reading the Bible would cure addiction. It's so boring and put the most tweaked out writing. Oh, there you go. Yes, that's true. That is true. Oh, my goodness. Oh. So there you go. There you go.
Pride, rebellion. Rebellion almost always follows pride.
Okay, so I always hated this one until I became an atheist, and I realized this is the oldest trick in the book when you're trying to condition a group of people. Because if you can say that their rebellion is simply the product of their own selfish pride, that gets rid of a lot of bullshit really, really quickly. Really, really quickly. Thanks, Jova Shade. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate you. If the demons were real, this guy would be possessed by the demon of constipation because he's clearly full of it. Oh, by the way, I love the hat. Yes. This is the Holy Bunny hat. So thank you so much, Jova. Jova, Senator Fred was here earlier, but Jova is my counsel. So there you go. But yes, thank you very much. But pride and rebellion, pride and rebellion. There you go. Simos. But yes, this is a great way to condition people too, by the way. Whenever I was having trouble with people in the church not following what I wanted to do when I was a Pentecostal, just preach on pride and rebellion and that it's a demonic thing. I think he's going to even quote the verse. Let's see if he quotes the verse.
And then witchcraft or the occult. Because 1 Samuel 15 verse 23 says rebellion.
So there you go, Earl. There's a gang for you to join now. The witchcraft gang. So there you go. There you go. Yes, I've read the Bible, but I haven't studied. I appreciate ex-believers going to lay this stuff out. Yeah, I try to do that. So there you go. There you go. But bunnies. Yes, bunnies. We like bunnies around here. See, I always tell people I'm the Rabyd Atheist, and Fangs is the rabbit atheist. So he's the Rabyd Atheist deity. who draws power from a non-belief. So there you go. But yes, he's laid out the three areas that if you're being prideful, if you're being rebellious to authority, or if you're engaged in occult or witchcraft things, there you go. So you're still here? Okay, there you go. So I actually, based on current things, can say that both my counsel and my senator are in the House. So there you go. And all you have to do is remind yourself that you just have to hail the Rabyd Atheist as your benevolent dictator for life, and we're all good. So I don't know. See, that's where I would confront him. You boasted that you did a 5-hour exorcism, man. That's a pretty good flex. You know, is that the demon of pride there? Like you're taking pride in that? So there you go. Yes, the us versus them thing seems to motivate religious people. Spiritual warfare, demons, evildoers, infidels, liberals, etc., etc. Yep. Otherism is very prominent in religion. Like I don't know of too many religions that don't have it. In fact, I can't even think of one. But there's always the otherism of you found the truth and everybody else is still searching for it at bare minimum. And so these people are on the outside as you're the occult. Okay, there you go. I love it, Earl. You'd be into the demon superstition, but I see what you did there, Simos. There you go. Oh my gosh. 5-hour. How bad is it? I don't know. He had to get rid of 73 of them. The 72 he'd gotten rid of previously, and then the 73rd was a demon of tiredness. So this used to be big back in the day, the demonology in the 90s. Oh my God. Everything was a demon. Everybody was getting cast out of demons, going to deliverance services. Holy crack. Yeah, it's just bad. Like everybody was, I think they were addicted to learning about demons and stuff. Like it was absolutely the thing. And so, yeah, there's that. But it's like when he's sitting there talking about pride, I'm like, dude, you have a lot of things that you kind of have said that were kind of prideful, like the 5-hour, exorcism. So there you go. But yeah. There you go. Holy crack. And you can use multiple definitions of the word crack too. Makes it even more funny. Oh, yeah. Hail Caesar. There we go. Yeah, he bought fangs in a fruit cup. There you go. Nom, nom, nom. So there you go. Yeah, but definitely, you're high on something with this guy. Holy hot man, oh man.
Is as the sin of witchcraft. Wherever you find rebellion, look for witchcraft. The great historical example of this is the young people of the United States in the 1960s. Almost a whole generation went into rebellion, and almost every one of them ended in the occult, because rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft.
Citation, please. I'm sorry, there were a lot of hippies back in the 60s that ended up running businesses. So I'm trying to figure out how they got into the occult. They all became yuppies later. Most of us refer to them now as boomers, and they're almost the complete moral opposite as a generation as what they were when they were young. So I don't know what he's getting into there, but at the time, like, this is 30 years after, 25, 30 years after the 1960s. And he's like, all of them went into the occult. So there you go. Yes. Holy cheeks too. Holy crack and holy cheeks. Yes. Earl pointed it out really well. She did a nice little graphic that illustrates what I'm saying. LBJ took her down. They got there. What did he see? The youth of America on LSD. Yes, there you go. See, but yes, this guy is like going after that generation. Now, here's the thing about it. Let's see, this is 1995 when he says that. So a lot of the hippies are in their 40s by now at this point, and he's 80 years old. So he's going at a generation that was coming into power at the time. And so, yes, yeah, there you go. Yes, the Utes of America. There you go. Now, I have to give him credit because this lady here is signing to these, which makes me wonder, is there a demon of deafness? And why is he promoting a demon of deafness by having somebody sign to the kids? So I don't know. Somebody had to say it. Oh, patriotic opportunism. There you go. Yeah. A lot of them went to war and killed people at the time too. Like the 60s, you want to talk about a decade of turmoil, mostly caused by a lot of change. And so that's kind of what happened. So I don't know, but yeah, he glosses over a lot of things that they all ended up doing whale rights. Oh, it's the joke that never dies. You know, Earl, if that joke lasts until your birthday, it'll be a year old. And that ain't too far away. Like this is a joke that's been going on 10 months now? Holy cow, and it's still funny. It's an inside joke for the channel, but holy cow.
Now, I thank God I saw scores of them gloriously saved and delivered. But I learned the lesson. Then one of the commonest spirits is the spirit of fear. Paul says God has not given us a spirit of fear, so it doesn't come from God.
Okay, so I have to ask a question at that point because I know the Bible really well. Hey, Dave, good to see you. Yeah, I'm just saying. Holy, you mean holy gay whales? There we go. Yes, but this part is kind of odd to me. Okay, as a person who's well versed in the Bible, if God hasn't given us a spirit of fear, how is the fear of the Lord the beginning of the wisdom? Like this is one of the great contradictory ideas in the Bible to me, because Paul basically says you're not supposed to be afraid because fear comes from the devil. But then all through the Old Testament, it's like you better fear God or else. Okay, so I guess I'm trying to figure out, this is where people have to take one side or the other in the Bible. He'll probably say, well, my idea is New Testament and the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom is in the Old Testament. So we'll play that game. But I'm not convinced that he's really making a good case here. That's, because that verse directly contradicts a lot of other verses that talk about the fear of God. So, yeah. So I don't know how you get the idea that fear doesn't come from God, because it's pretty clear that God wants you to fear him. So, yeah, I'm just saying 2 months. That joke will be a year old, and that tells you something, how funny it is. Rebellion for peace is demonic. Funny how that works. I guess I mean, the thing about rebellion, okay, when you consider who the Bible's written by and what it's written for, the idea of keeping people from rebelling against an unjust system is very much there. Like, you got to remember, Paul's the same guy who writes Romans 13, where he says you're supposed to obey all the authorities because they're given by God. Okay, if that's the case, then no Christian should ever lead a rebellion, but we know that has not been the case. Okay, so yes, reading all the Apocrypha, yes. Oh, you made it up. Plead addicted from it. I think the Bible of God demands a bit of fear from his peeps. Yes. Many of them are fighting hard for civil rights for black people in this country, right? So, and I'm going to tell you right now, Dragon Rider, that's kind of what he's alluding to. Because he talks back at the 60s about they're all in the occult or whatever, but he's also speaking about the fact that there was a lot of social change rebellion in the 60s too. And there were preachers in the 60s that took to their pulpits and called them rebels and that they were connected with witches and witchcraft because they weren't submitting to the authorities. Okay, so you can think whatever about what they were rebelling about, But the idea of rebellion being demonic or witchcrafty is designed to keep people away from rebelling and keep people into an unjust system. Like, you can't protest or go up against injustice because that's rebellion. Okay, and so this is why I've told you folks, politics, religion, when they work together, they work really hard to squash opposition. Like I have to give an example right now. You can just watch the news. So, yes, rebels blow up the Death Star. I know. So God was possessed by demons of fear. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's just got a few kinks. Yeah. Just a few. Yes, it keeps the masses docile. If you have this idea in religion of rebellion is demonic or witchcrafty, then people follow the authority instead of doing what's right sometimes. So, yes, well, that's what he was accused of several times in the story. Go read the story. Ask yourself how many times Jesus is accused of being filled with demons. Like, several times. He has to come up with the excuse. Well, a house divided against itself cannot stand. So if Satan's divided against Satan, his house can't stand. That doesn't make any sense. And so, yes, that's kind of one of that. So people don't want their rights taken away. That's why thousands took the streets today to fight for rights. Yes. And I applaud that. Okay. I have my misgivings whenever a group is out of power, when they are in power these days. I've watched the pattern too many times, I guess, because they're always concerned about rights and freedom when they're not in power. It's the rebel sir, they're here. And atheism, a dash of freedom. A dash for freedom. Yeah, that's fair. Opium for the masses. Yes. And his whole idea, like, I'm not going to give Lenin too many props because I think he has a lot of problems, but he's like, notice how this stuff keeps you from really thinking about what the issues are. So, yeah. You shall fear God and the Lord, but other kinds of fears are probably demonic. You shall only fear God. Yes, exactly. That's probably what we're getting at. And any authorities that God puts in place, you have to fear those too. So,
but fear is something that we easily, all of us, give way to. And it's followed by other things like rejection. One of the commonest emotional problems in the church and in the world today is rejection. It's a sense of feeling unworthy, unwanted. Nobody really loves me. I'm on the outside looking in.
Okay, couple of things here. The church is partially responsible for that, if not a large part responsible for that. How many times you go in a service and tell you you're a sinner, you're no good, you're evil. Like, literally, part of the doctrine and the way they preach salvation is to make you feel like you're a piece of shit. And at this particular time in history, it's like, dude, you're preaching a gospel that constantly tells people that they're awful. So why wouldn't they feel that way? Okay. Yeah. I mean, I get that. Being afraid kept our ancestors alive, but this guy is going for the throat here. Like, he's like, how dare you say no on a date? Yeah, exactly. There's that element too. Yes. You gotta, yeah. Oh, it's Marx. Okay. Yeah. It keeps people docile. And that's the issue. The issue to me with this, what he just said though, is why do people feel that way when they live in a Christian culture that constantly tells them that they're a sinner in the hands of an angry God? How do you not? This is one of the things I still struggle with in deconversion, is feeling good about myself. After 40 flipping years of being told I shouldn't feel good about myself because I'm a sinner. Who creates that atmosphere, my friend, Mr. Prince? I know you're dead, but who creates that atmosphere better than anybody else except Christians? Well, people don't feel good in the church. They don't feel like they're accepted. They feel like they're on the outside looking in. Gee, I wonder who gave them that thought. Okay. Like you're a sinner in the hands of God, Yeah, gotta the synergy is great. Yes. Yeah. That's the issue to me. Okay. Like I I don't understand how he is so blind to see that your own doctrine is doing this to your people. Like you're literally telling people that they're awful, they're full of crap, whatever, right? And then somehow they're not supposed to feel detached. Somehow they're supposed to feel all the love and all this other crap. Like, how, when you start a person down this path of you feel like crap and you're evil and this stuff, how in the world do you get out of the psychology of that? Like, the whole of the church is designed, the evangelistic message is designed, you got to accept the fact that you're a sinner and no good. Then how the flip do you get out of that? I don't understand how he can be surprised that nobody feels like they're attached or they don't feel good enough or whatever when that's the doctrine you start out preaching to them. I don't get it. Triple E, congratulations. Outstanding. There you go. Been a non-Christian for 15 months. Thanks, Fangs, for my enlightenment. There you go. Oh, man. We got to have a birthday celebration for Fangs. I think it's in January. So, but yes. Yeah, definitely congratulations on that one. Triple E. Yeah. Hey, Merlin. Good to see you. Yeah, but it's when I would, it's really interesting to me. Like every once in a while, a theist will come here, and no matter what you try to talk to them about, they seem to get on their subject and their talking points, and all of it when it starts out is like got taught evangelism in Bible college, and we used a method where we spent the first third of our time trying to tell the person that they were no good, evil sinner. And then this guy is wondering why the spirit of the church is such that everybody doesn't feel like they're any good. So I don't get that. So there you go. There you go. There you go. Even the lap in which our Lord naps says, congratulations, Triple E. Yes, I was one of these people too. I just been out of it longer than you, Triple E. So, but yes, but yeah, but thank you so much for being a member for so long as well. Like I remember when we first met, you had a lot of questions, and I was all too happy to ask them and be respectful and have you work through things, and that's the way to do it. Okay. If you think somebody's like got a really awful viewpoint, well, maybe you need to let them have a little bit more time to deconvert out of it. So it'll happen. Just got to be, but yes, congrats for that. Appreciate it. But yeah, oh my goodness. That's a good moment, Triple E, for you. I'm happy for you. So, all right, let's see if we can get this guy to finish up, but I don't know if he's going to
I would say, in my observation, at least 20% of professing Christians today that I've met with need deliverance from rejection. It's really due to the breakup of the family.
Bullshit. No, it's due to you teaching them that they're rejected by God until they accept your message. Why wouldn't they feel rejected if you're telling them that they're rejected at the first point? I don't get it. Oh, I'm all too welcome to do that, Triple E. You know me. You've gotten to know me pretty well over 15 months. My whole heart is to watch people realize that this is a con. Okay, that it is false and silly as the hat I'm wearing. Like it's it does my heart good when people realize, oh, I don't need this to be a good person. I don't need this to live my life and be happy. Like I can deal with my problems and actually deal with them realistic with stuff that actually really works and deals with it. And so that's kind of my heart. Like, I'm not claiming any perfection, like I've arrived at anything. I'm still have my own struggles, but I'm happy to help people struggle through this and do it. So there you go. Um, you like that joke about the hat, I think. Deliver aunts and deliver uncles. Yeah, that's funny too. Yeah, I mean, and Ron, everybody, it's a good moment when I see stuff like that. Like, I don't always see the effects of what I do, but I hear about it later. And in that respect, it's kind of like being a lot of things I've been in life. But yeah, but I've always been happy to have people here chatting about things, and that's why we do a lot of protecting of the channel from theists that want to be annoying. So. Yeah, I mean, he just made up a statistic too, Josh. I noticed that too. Like, he says, in my experience, 20%. Do you really think that he's done a study on that, or is he just making shit up on the fly? So it's like, there you go. There you go. All right.
Because the thing that gives a child the sense of security is the love and the care of a father. And where that is missing, there's something that cries out, I don't know who I am, I don't feel secure, I don't know that people really love me. I want to tell you one thing, Jesus really loves you. But the devil will do his best to convince you it's true of everybody else but not you.
All right, that's the end of it. I wanted to get to the end of that, but it's like I had a problem there at the end with him that kind of got me a little bit angry because thank you. Appreciate that. Bullshit. Yes. The problem with this guy is his continued influence. The guy's been dead, since 2005 or 2006. And he still, like, you can see based on the views on the YouTube channel, somebody must have put that stuff up later, because I don't think YouTube has been around as long as the guy's been dead. And so a lot of his works I see popping up in other places that are Pentecostal charismatic based. And so he's still listened to. I used to have this problem when I was still in the faith too, because there were a lot of old time preachers preaching revival and all these big revivals, and they were dead, but people still listen to him. Yeah, he died in 2003. So yeah, it's been a while. So, but somebody has taken his works and tried to revive them and keeps it going. And this is the kind of thing about this type of preaching, because it's a teaching type preaching. And I see this with a lot of teaching type preachers. It keeps going. Now, as I said before, his technique is good. He's got good diction. He communicates well at a good, proper pace. If I was rating purely his public speaking presence, it's really good. The problem is everything he's saying has no evidence to back it up, has no real reality. There's literally times when he's just making shit up. Yeah, well, yeah, you got to have a father and you don't need a mother, apparently, according to this guy, because it's a breakup of the American family. I think in the 80s and 90s, that was a big buzz thing with Christians, still is. But like fatherless households were becoming more and more common. So, yeah. All right. Are we curing you, Fred? I don't know if we're curing Fred. But yeah, but like, I come back to Earl's ultimate assessment of everything. It's bullshit. Like, it's the problem with these preachers is you can package them really well. Like, we've reacted to some preachers that were, jumping all over the stage and screaming and yelling and everything. But this guy is just like the opposite. Like, he has this measured, he's organized. He definitely had his lists together to put in his PowerPoint, so the PowerPoint guy isn't freaking out. Is he going to go off script or whatever? It's like he's well polished. It's still a turd. Okay, you can polish a turd forever, and it's just a polished turd. because what he's saying is he's making it up. And because he looks so respectable, people take what he says as gospel. He has that aura of authority, has a made-up authority and a made-up expertise because he's considered an expert in demonology, okay? Because he talks about it for 30 years. But what did he actually ever prove is my question. Yeah, we're curing each other. Yeah, it's quite possible. Listen, we hang out together, okay? I think hangouts like this are going to get more popular. I just saw a clip, of several politicians, not just Trump, bragging that there were no atheists in the room. And I'm like, oh shit, what's next? Because they're going to start lying about me some more. Not that they haven't done it before. People that deconvert like me are just bitter and angry at the church, and they just need to get over it. And like, nope. So beyond health and weirdos, just like, all right. Yeah, it's definitely in my top list. Like, people need to think about that for a while. Back in the day when there were a lot of wars, a lot of fathers were killed, and there were a lot of single mother households for a long time. And because of the pressure to get married, some of them got over that, but that doesn't necessarily lead to a good family relationship. Like, if the guy involved, it's not his kids, so he, there's a lot of records of abuse back then too, of children. So, is your heart growing 2 sizes? Yeah, this is a good group. It's become a really good group, Earl, where we all have our struggles, but we're happy to come together and talk about them. And I've always, this is what I do. Like, I enjoy doing this part. I need to do some other parts to make my channel grow, but I'm slowly realizing that the streaming thing needs to be heart and soul of the channel. Like, it's talking about deconversion. It's talking about issues. It's reacting to preachers like this, because a lot of us used to sit in those pews and listen to this stuff and just eat it up. And you need to come to a place where somebody can say, this is why you ate it up. Okay. The whole thing with demons is power over circumstance. Like, everybody wants some sort of power over circumstance in their life. And if you can blame it on a demon and come up with a way of getting rid of the demons, you can fix the problem. And everybody who's grasping at straw with their life problems, they are going to eat this up. And so, yeah, it's kind of that way. So, yeah, I mean, it is a community, but this is the thing, though, Native. Atheists and secularists need to get better at creating community, because the religion people have it down. Like, okay, we need to figure out what that is. Like, being fractured as an atheist community isn't a good thing, especially, I try to remind people, 1 out of 10 people in the United States is now an atheist or a non-believer of some sort. Doesn't change the fact that they're probably 8 out of 10 that aren't. Okay, you're still outnumbered. So, but yes, bunnies. Always need bunnies. A gaggle of weirdos. Flock of weirdos. Let's see. What's the bunny term for a group? What's a group of bunnies called? I got to know. Oh, there are many we could choose from. Look at that. Okay, here we go. There's a list. Okay, so depending on where you're from, you can be called a colony, a fluffle. I kind of like that one. Herd, warren, down. So that's where the idea of watership down comes from, is the down was the group part and watership was the distinction. Drove and husk. So fluffle. I don't know, maybe we'll have to have a vote. Fluffle wins. So we are now officially, what is it? a fluffle of weirdos. So we're a fluffle of weirdos. Oh, the fangs fluffle. There you go. But yes, yes, fluffle of weirdos, fluffle. Yes, I agree. It's a great book. The fangs fluffle. It fits us. It really does. I ain't gonna lie. I'm like, what is a group of rabbits called? Oh, there's like 6 names. Okay, which one is the group going to say yes? This is what we are. We're fluffles. We are a fluffle now officially. Edward Caesar's fluffle. Yes, fluffle is the obvious choice for this group. Yeah, it does make you unreasonably happy, doesn't it? Me too. For some reason, that just makes me happy. So there we go. There we go. So welcome to the Rabyd Atheist fluffle. Fangs is fluffle, the fluffle of weirdos. The rabid fluffle. There we go. The rabid fluffle. Oh my goodness. Oh. Yeah, the fact that it resonated with every single one of us, Evan. Oh my goodness. That's great. That's awesome. Oh, there we go. There's another one. The fluffle of nibblers. There we go. Poor Fred. I'm smiling too. Stop this, you fluffles, you. Oh my goodness. Oh, oh, I'm starting to hurt. My ribs are hurting. All right, so it's official. Yes, now you're a fluffler. There you go. So like, okay, there you go. Fangs fluffle. I think fangs fluffle fits the best, though. It's nice alliteration. So fangs fluffle, that works. The fluffy fangs fluffle of weirdos. There we go. Merlin's got it. There you go. But the nibblers too. Yes, a fluffle of nibblers. Control has been visually lost. Flufflers and fluffettes. There we go. Oh my goodness. Oh, a kerfluffle. Somebody for us to do a kerfluffle here. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I love this group too for the same reason. The fluffle is officially canon, by the way, because I am wearing the hat and I said it. So there you go. And now, as Merlin points out, you can use the word fangs or fluff as the F word. That's also official canon. So either one works. Fangs approves. He's sitting on my shoulder right here telling me he approves. He's laughing his ass off too. So there you go, noted. So there we go. We're all, you can either use fluffle or fangs as the F word. That's official canon doctrine. So there you go. Oh my goodness. Oh, I got to make it even more official now. Oh, there we go. Let's open this one. There we go. It's now official. Yes. Woohoo. Yes, go fluff yourself. You might get away with that one even more than fangs, actually. Okay. Okay, so let me, I can't even say this word. Falafel. Fa-la-la. Sorry, I'm getting Christmas vibes from that. Fa-la-la-la-la. There we go. Yes. Fluff, you there you go. You lot fangs the fluffle out of me. I tell you. Oh, fluffle. Oh, yep, I've lost control. The chat is off the hinge. It happens every stream, but there we go. Oh my goodness. Oh, that hurts. Oh, yes, Fluff is going to work so many things. Yes. Yes, just imagine all of the possibilities. So there you go. The official designation of any group of people who follow fangs is a fluffle. Falafel. Falafel fluffle. Oh my gosh. 'Tis the season to be fluffed. Puff, puff, fluff. Oh, I'm going to hurt in the morning. My ribs are going to hurt. This is almost as good as the red flags of Jesus. Maybe even better. Just as good. Our mighty fluffle shall never die. Oh, yeah. I'm alone in my apartment too, man. So is Earl probably. We're all here joking about fluffles. Come out and fluff about. Oh, I saw what you did there, Rob. Rump of bump fluff. There we go. There we go. Indeed, yes. There's a lot of us that are alone in our apartment that are using this as our group and laughing our asses off because of it. My heart's good. Yeah, my doctor never says anything about my heart. He's always, other than it's strong. You have a very strong heart and a good strong heartbeat. So, it's better than holy laughter because I'm also my partner. We can all be alone together in our own fluffle. The fangs fluffles have launched. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to, I don't know if Dave's still here, but I'm going to have to, next time I do Saturday Night the Atheist, I'm going to have to tell people to come join the fangs fluffle on my channel. When I go bother people on their own streams, put that in. Oh, there we go. We will fluff you. There you go. There you go. I can see that. You can't read. You can't write tonight, can you, Michael? It's getting late for you. Oh my goodness. Mine is a raisin. Yours is a raisin. Oh, yeah. There is, like, in my family, there is like this low level heart murmur problem, genetically speaking. Like all my grandkids some of my grandkids have had to deal with it, but it's like really minor. I have never had that. So so that's good. That's one of the good news of my health. My health isn't too bad. That's kind of the one good news of my life. So no, I'm not superstitious about taking that. I'll cue Europe here. So, separately away from all other people. Yes. Senator Fred of the Fangs Fluffle. Died right. My heart needs to project. Okay, yeah. Told your counselor about fangs. He thought it was a clever critique of religion. Yes, I would do that. That's what it's designed to be. When the book comes out, you'll see this. That's what me and Earl are doing. She's doing it with her art, and some of the things she's helping me write with, and I'm doing with my writing. The whole idea is to absolutely satirize religion. That's just kind of my thing. And I'm attacking mostly the Yahweh belief because it hits 3 religions. So I see that you're 4 away from 600 subs. Congratulations in order, I think. But yes, I now have to tell people to come over and join me for the Fangs Fluffle. So I'm sure that will be go great. And if you haven't subbed to Captive Desk yet, I agree with Native Atheist. Head over there and help him reach 600. That would be great for him. So I know, because now me and Earl are both, how the hell do we get Fluffle into this? Because I'm going to be honest, a lot of my inspiration comes from you guys. And I think it's true for Earl too. Like we both, like when we have discussions like this, oh, that's just too funny. We got to put that in the book. And so, but yes, so there's that. So yeah, if you haven't gone over to Dave's and so, yeah, it's like, I have so brought stuff out from this chat and put it in the book. It's just now I've got to, like, how do I get Fluffle into this? And I do have the origin story of bunnies coming up. So it will probably make its first appearance there, probably in chapter 4. So, but yes, hey, no problem, Dave. Like, Dave, you have a really good show. I hate leaving it and interrupting your show because you guys have a good group over there between Simos and you and a few others. Yeah, it's just, you got a good group there. So there you go. 2 more. But yes, well, if you haven't subbed to Captive Desk, go over and do so. Like it's good stuff on Saturdays. Like I know a lot of you go over there Saturday at 5 and then come over here at 7 or later. And I'm cool with that. Like, but there's only so many Saturdays in the week and it's the only time. So there you go. But yes, good channel, good discussions. He picks out some of the worst videos on the internet and it shows, but they're hilarious and get to illustrate a lot of points. So there you go. But you are appreciated, sir. I know you've been going through some health stuff too, so I've been kind of monitoring you, make sure you're okay, because my friends on the internet are limited. It's kind of one of the areas I have friends. So can't do it at work. Those people are crazy. But yes, there you go. But yes, we are earnestly writing this book and putting all kinds of stuff. There you go, Dave. Just come over to the Rabyd Atheist and yell at us if you need to hit another milestone. We'll do it. There. So Dave, congratulations, you hit 600. And you can say that the Rabyd Atheist channel did it for you. There you go. So they're a bit fluffed. Oh my goodness. Woohoo. Well, there you go, Dave. 600. There you go. I'm happy for you because there's a lot of underrated channels, and I get sometimes that we all get tired of talking about the same crap, and sometimes we need a break. But I don't know. You guys have been pretty consistent over at Captive Desk, so I kind of like what you guys do. So you got your experts, you got Simos for comedy relief, and and you do pretty well itself. And the Bigfoot thing is great. So yeah, so many more subs to you, as Native Atheist said, many more. I'm always happy to help out people that I think are great. And so, yeah. See, it's already happened. Fluffle power. Congratulations, Dave. You're now a beneficiary of Fluffle power. Fluffalicious. Yeah, it's much more community over here. I see. This is one of my anxiety inducing things, and it's probably irrational, but I'll share it with all of you. Like, I don't want to get so big in the chat that we can't be a fun-loving community. And that's one of my things that if I grow too big, that might be too much. But at the same time, we're going to find a way to keep this going. Maybe it'll mean more live streams to do that. So there you go. Yes, Bigfoot is fluffy. So there you go. It's the Fangs Fluffle effect. Earl's got it. There you go. We are the Fluffle. I don't know how anybody's going to be afraid of us that bit, but I don't ever want people to be afraid of us, I guess. So it's all good. It's all good. Oh, my ribs hurt. It just hurts. I'm having trouble talking. But thanks, Captain Desk, for being a part of my life. And you're very, very welcome that we helped you get over that. Now, if it just get a few more, and I know if you're like me, it's like I don't want to say that I have 600 subs until I have 605, you know. So there you go. Yeah, I am overwhelmed with fluffles. Thank you, Dave. Oh, this groove is probably because it feels like such a good, well fluffle to fluff in the crowd elevator. Yeah, there you go. We are Fangs Fluffy. Bunnies and me. Ah, that's true. If we need to look intimidated, I'll just sick Earl on him. That'll be fine. She's enough intimidation for all the rest of us. So there you go. Oh, there you go. There you go. There you go. Nice. But yes, we're gonna move this along. So if we ever need to be intimidating, we'll just send Earl. Like they'll all run away. So, but you know, I gotta give credit to our Lord of the Carrots Fangs. This has just made this channel a lot of fun, and I appreciate that so much. Yeah, because we're going to intimidate her. There you go. Earl being intimidating. Growls and fluffitude. So there you go. But yes, so, I mean, the thing is, though, when I was studying, like, I'm studying rabbits of all things, so that I can put, like, actual rabbit behavior inside the book. And I actually found a few videos of rabbits actually fighting each other, and it really looks like kung fu. It really does, and I want to call it bunny fu. And so now maybe it'll be bunny fluff fu. There we go, fluffle fu. There we go. But yeah, they go at each other with those back legs. So it's like, yeah, a kung fu martial art form that deals in kicks. So. Papa Bear mode, then I'm scary. Okay, there you go. Yeah, don't cross her. She did kill Earl. Allegedly. Allegedly. You got to add the word allegedly. Yes, fluff foo. There you go. Yes, allegedly. Allegedly. You've officially been fluffed. There you go. There you go, Captain Desk. Yes, we're going to call it fluff foo. It's never been proven in a court of law. Earl maintains her innocence. It's an alleged accusation. Yes, the master of fluff foo. Like, I mean, if you know anything about the martial arts, like a lot of kung fu is based on animal behavior, like different animals. And I don't know if they actually have a bunny version. Do they have a bunny version of kung fu? Now I got another research hole to dive down. Hold on. United States, The Legend of Kung Fu Rabbit was released in the United States in 2011. So another foreshadowing of, and the rabbit's actual name is Fu. So there has been a rabbit Fu style in The Legend of the Rabbit. Oh my gosh. What have I done to myself? Now I got to look this up and read about it. But there is The Legend of Kung Fu Rabbit. That's an official movie too. So there is Kung Fu in rabbits. I'm just trying to. There we go. But yes. But if you ever need to hide a body, okay, thanks for the knowledge. Yeah, it's another research rabbit hole. I do a lot of those because now I've got like I'm like watching these videos of the rabbits fighting, and I'm like, that looks like flipping kung fu kicking, and sure enough, the Chinese have it down. The Legend of Kung Fu Rabbit. Sure enough. Oh, the Fluffs of New York. Master of Fluff Fu, yes. Yes, there is a rabbit style, apparently. A rabbit style of Kung Fu. Double hop, right nipple. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I don't know, Earl. You're going to have to. Now we got to do a picture of Fangs doing like a flying dragon kick or something. We're going to have to do that. Like, I don't know how, but we're going to have, because Fangs doesn't have like a lot of offensive powers. Most of his stuff is about getting away from getting killed. And we need to give him at least one, that he's a master of rabbit fluff foo. So we need to have Fangs doing a flying dragon kick at something. Yes, Kung Fu fighting this. There's a meme. Yes, I've seen that meme, and yep, it's now official canon that not only did Fangs create rabbit Kung Fu, Fluff Fu, as it's sometimes known, he is the absolute master of Fluff Fu. There we go. Another official declaration. That's canon. It's a flying wabbit kick. Yes, it's a wabbit kick. Oh my goodness. But yes. I was doing research, and I was like, those rabbits are fighting. I'm like, bunnies always look so docile, but no, actually that happens a lot. Like, it's a pecking order thing. So I was kind of surprised, but yes. So, but there is the legend of Kung Fu Rabbit. So I don't know. Kung Fu Rabbit Style is a TikTok. Okay, I don't know if I want to watch that right now. Kung Fu Rabbit. Oh, yeah, that's right. It was like a Nintendo thing once, too. Yep, it's also a Nintendo game. So there you go. So the idea of rabbits doing Kung Fu is not completely bonkers. Oh my gosh. Let's get down to business to defeat the hares. Oh, yeah, really? So I could see it. Like, we raised rabbits, but we had all of our rabbits separated, so I don't know if they ever got into it. So I think we had my dad raised rabbits, we kept them separated pretty good. That's probably why. Like, my dad was always one of those guys to, like, he couldn't read very well, but he would always like pick people's brains that had stuff. Like, if he knew other people that raised rabbits, he would go over and talk to them at length. And I'm betting he got that idea of keeping the rabbits apart from him. So there's probably a ninja bunny somewhere. Until they were both neutered, yes. Yeah, it's like there's got to be there's probably a very big real evolutionary reason for why bunnies fight each other. So I'm sure there is. But yeah, so there we go. But yes, Earl, I know it's funny, it's hilarious, but we need to find the way to get this cute little bunny to do a flying dragon kick. I don't know how you're going to do it. I'll leave it to you. I leave it to you, the artistic expert, the lap in which our Lord naps, to create an artistic representation of the day that Fluff Fu was invented. So all the fluffles can know how to defend themselves. So, so there you go. Love about Fangs. Go get them. Oh, yeah. Well, Coyote, it kind of got off the rails when I innocently minded myself, well, maybe not so innocent, just looked up what a group of rabbits were. And one of the names for a group of rabbits is called the Fluffle. And since then, it's been going downhill ever since. It's been going downhill. The bunny hop on the opponent's head is a finishing move. There you go. But yes, I remarked about like how rabbits actually do use those back legs to kick each other in fights for dominance and territory and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I had to look up Kung Fu and whether it had a rabbit style. And sure enough, it's out of control and beautifully so. Yes, it kind of happens around here. So, and now, there's a few more canon doctrines like Fluff Fu is officially. So, yeah, Merlin showed up. He's totally innocent. He's whistling, but he's totally innocent. My boy Kitty loves girl kitties, but even years after he is fixed, I had a male foster who isn't fixed yet. He's super inner and still smells. He gets mad. Yep. Yeah, it's kind of conditioned in him. Like, so, yeah. So the official title, I don't know, I'm going to have to change it from the Church of Fangs, I think, and officially make a new name of the Fluff of Fangs. That's the official name of the religious bodies that meet, is they are fluffs, not churches. So there you go. So a Fangs Fluff. There you go. And then we have Fluff Fu, which is the creation of the almighty Fangs as he taught all of his rabbits how to defend themselves by creating a martial arts form. So there you go. Probably. It's a testosterone thing. It's kind of a double-edged sword, testosterone. On the one hand, it makes us aggressive. And on the other hand, it's also necessary for health. So like we're so inundated with it as men, particularly me. I get angry for no reason. I know, like, that's a flipping testosterone, but it also keeps us healthy too. So it's kind of a double-edged sword for a lot of us. Fluffy bunny tails, yeah, could be. See, I want to know if we could create a finishing move in Fluff Fu that involves various different parts of a rabbit. Like, is there a way to do a martial arts move with the ears? Like, is there a way to do it with the bunny tail? My mind is racing. I'm sorry. Like, what would we call that? Like, got these long floppy ears. Can we put him into a helicopter move so much so that the ears become like the spinning ears of death or something like that? I don't know. I don't know. Oh my goodness. Boy, this stream has gone on a lot longer than I normally do. That's probably why I'm getting, yeah, it's a helicopter, but it's not a kick. See, it's his ears. So what do you call that? You call it, yeah, like the flying bunny copter. Is that the flying bunny copter move in Fluff Fu? All right. Yeah, actually, I'm going to kind of call it. I haven't eaten anything since I got up, so I'm getting very, very hungry. So, but yes, the spinning bunny ears, that might work too. Bunny autism, go burr. There you go. Yes, nunchuck ears. There you go. Or however, there you go. Yes, I'm going to go feed myself and take a break. This has been a great stream, guys, though. I absolutely enjoyed every moment. I feel every time I stream, you guys just make my day. Appreciate it. All of it. Thanks for all the donations. So, like, I'll go back through them real quick. But we have all the bigger chats is Fred, open this. And then Joshua, then Decibel, then Kevin, and then Fred again, and then Jova. And congratulations to Triple E for being a non-Christian for 15 months. And thanks, Fangs, for his enlightenment. So thank you all for being here. May our Lord Fangs bless you and teach the mighty gift of Fluff Fu to all you fluffles and fluffle lovers. There you go. I'm going to have to figure out how to put this in because it's too hilarious not to. May he nibble on all of your hearts, and may he purify your vegetables from religious corruption. I appreciate everybody that has got on, but thanks. but yes, thank you all for being here. And make sure you leave a carrot out for Fangs as an offering. And you can make the most holy of vegetables, the carrot, even more holy by circumcising it and taking off just the tip. So that's an important religious advice for those of you who follow Fangs. Nam nam, and may he richly bless you every single day. And as always, folks, live your best life. You only get one go around and then it's over. So make sure you're taking all your time, money, and opportunities and giving them to yourself, the people you love and care for, and to make this a better world. You'll be happier if you do. And don't waste it on the trappings of religion and faith, because that's a dead end. I speak from experience. Thank you once again, Jova. Again, thank you. Appreciate all you. And I will see you all next time on Monday. We will be doing the fireside chat, and I'll see you all there. And all of you enjoy fluffing around with your fluffles. So there you go. But I'll see you all then.